Realme is back with the Realme 16, and this is one of those phones that's trying to do a couple of things differently, but right off the top the headline feature here is pretty clear. A 7000 mAh battery in a phone that absolutely does not feel like it should have a 7000 mAh battery. And for some context, this comes in at around 183 grams and about 8.1 millimeters thick. Now, it's not the absolute slimmest phone out there. Devices like the Tecno Pova Slim or even something like the iPhone Air are slimmer, but those also pack much smaller batteries. So when you look at this as a combination, big battery, relatively slim body and lightweight, that's where this starts to stand out. And that's important because usually when you hear big battery, you expect a much heavier and thicker phone. This is not that. It's actually comfortable, easy to hold, easy to use, and it doesn't feel like it's fighting you. And that's probably the most impressive thing about this phone so far. Now the design itself is pretty clean. This is the Air Black variant and it has this subtle, almost stardust-like finish. It reflects light nicely, but it doesn't go overboard. It's not flashy, it's not trying too hard, it just looks good. There's also a white version if you want something that stands out a bit more. But overall, this is a simple, minimal design that feels well thought out. Now on the back is where things get a little more interesting. You've got this pill-shaped camera module, which does remind you of a mix between an iPhone Air style layout and something you'd see on a Pixel. But it's slimmer than most camera bars we've seen recently. And inside that module, you've got your cameras, an IR blaster, and then something you don't usually see. There's a tiny mirror built into the camera module. And this is actually the first phone in India to include a built-in selfie mirror. Now at first, it sounds like a gimmick, but in practice, it's actually pretty useful. If you're taking a selfie using the rear camera, you can quickly check your framing. And that means you can use the main camera for group selfies and videos, which in most cases will give you better results than the front camera. It's a small addition, but it's one of those features that you end up appreciating more the more you use it. And while we are talking about the build, this one also comes with IP66, IP68 and IP69 ratings. So it's not just splash resistant, it can handle dust, heavy rain and even high pressure water exposure better than most phones in this segment. Now let's talk cameras. This phone comes with dual 50 megapixel sensors, one on the front and one on the back. There also seems to be a depth sensor on the back. The main 50 megapixel rear camera does a solid job. Photos come out sharp, colors are vibrant but not overly processed, and dynamic range is handled well. Skin tones are mostly accurate, which is always good to see. If you zoom in, detail holds up fairly well, although you might notice slight inconsistencies in color in certain situations. The 50 megapixel front camera is also good. It leans a little warmer in terms of color science, and while it captures good detail, it doesn't quite match the consistency of the main sensor. For video, you are looking at 1080p at 60 fps, and there's no 4K option, which is a bit of a letdown. Colors are good, sharpness is fine, but stabilization is where it falls a bit short. This is one of those cases where having OIS would have made a noticeable difference. So yeah, that feels like a bit of a missed opportunity here. Now on the front, you've got a large display with a punch hole cutout. It's bright, vibrant and does exactly what you would expect it to do. Bezels are there, but they're fairly uniform all around, which actually helps the phone look a bit more polished. Now coming back to the battery. This is a 7000 mAh unit as I mentioned before. And it's backed by 60 watt fast charging. You also get support for 45 watt PPS, 15.75 watt PD 2.0 and 10 watts BC 1.2. So it shouldn't just be fast with the included charger, but also play nicely with a wide range of chargers. And you even get reverse charging here, which is always handy. Now obviously a phone like this is going to be judged heavily on battery life. And with 7000 mAh, expectations are very high. We'll be testing that properly in the full review along with charging, performance and long-term usage. But so far this is a phone that's clearly trying to stand out. Not just on paper, but in how it actually feels to use. So the big question, should you be excited about the Realme 16? Well, Realme has already hinted that this will be priced under 30,000 rupees. But if they go more aggressive and this starts closer to 25,000 rupees, honestly this conversation becomes more interesting. Because then you're looking at a phone that offers something genuinely different in a very crowded segment. And that's always a good thing. Anyway, that's been a quick look at the Realme 16. The full review will come soon. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.